Right, so I'm just going to be showing you how I make the multi-rig, which I've just got on this rig, on this setup here. This is one that I made earlier at home, but for all intents and purposes I'm going to show you how I've created that, so you can see for your own information. So we start by taking a length of the Nash sink link. This is the dark £20 silt Nash sink link. That's about 12 inches or maybe a bit more, and we're not going to use that much, but I like plenty of line to play with, just to make it a bit easier for yourself. So we're going to start by just tying the loop at the bottom of the hook. So we just go over and just literally put a granny knot in the bottom of this loop, and this is going to sit over the back of the hook, and this is going to essentially hold the bait screw down, which is going to do the hooking business. Pull that tight. Okay, so the granny knot there, trim off the tag with the scissors. Just the tag end. Now it's time to get your hook, and we are using a Corda wide gate X size 6 barbed. So as always, go through the back of the eye, right, and that's through. So once you've done that, that should look very much similar to that. So that's your loop there where your bait screw is going to be on, and your hook there. So the next step is to put your bait screw on, and these are again Arbor Nash bait screw, approximately 8mm. Buy from any good tackle shop. So we get the loop and the screw, and that goes through that piece there, and that sits on as so. Okay, so now the next step is to fold the back of the loop over the hook of over the point of the hook. So literally, this is why we've made it a bit longer, so it's easier. So that threads on into there, and will sit like that. Okay, then I pull a bit of this tag end down where the loop is, just to get the angling right and to form that, because your hook is going to be sat like so. Again, we use a bit of the Corda shrink tube, and this is the extra large, just because I like to steam it right down. And this goes onto the top of the sink link and pull that through, and basically that sits like so onto there. Make sure that's covered. You need a little bit on there and a little bit there, so as you can see, that's like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to steam the shrink tube down to the desired effect on the hook, and this is important for the hook hold. Also, if there is an aggressive hook hold, it basically shrinks back to like slip D, but I just like that shrink tube being on there, because I believe, in my opinion, that you can get a better positioning of the hook off the bottom of the silt or the weed or the solid bed, whatever you're fishing on. But these are ideal if you're fishing over sort of clear patches or maybe a bit of light silt. So we're going to steam that down over the kettle, nice like that. And as you can see, that's created that. So I'll just turn the kettle off, and then we're going to take our stripping tool, and we're going to strip back about 10mm on this supple coated sink link, and this is so there's a bit of flex when the fish picks up the rig. We're then going to put an oversized shot on, because basically that shot's going to sit on the bottom of the lake bed, and that's going to give you the presentation that you require. Stripping tool, strip that back, not too much, so like that. I would advise, if you're tying rigs, to tie rigs up at home, and steam over a kettle at home, because you've got a plastic element of your kettle at home rather than a metal, so it just doesn't damage it. But this is just for demonstration purposes. Oversized shot, and this is a treble A. Clip that onto there, and then that is your multi-rig. Now I'm going to take about 6-7 inches. Now you can either tie this on with like a 4 or 5 turn grinner knot, or I tend to do a figure of 8 loop, create a big loop, because I believe that with the big loop this will give you the trajectory for the rig to sit and fall down the water column properly, and for the rig to sit right. So a figure of 8 loop knot, so there's your 2 loops. Twist to get the figure of 8 and make it more strong, and pull back through, and as you can see that's the figure of 8 there. Pull that down, and that's your rig, and that is going to sit on the bottom like so. Trim your tag ends off, apply your pop-up of choice through the bait screw, as I will do now. So, which is going to be a DNA half-tone Secret 7, and these are bait screws, not bait nails, so you just press them in and then screw them on, rather than putting it right the way through. As again, I stress, these are screws, not nails. So that's how your rig's going to sit in the water column, like so, just off the bottom, and hopefully that's going to do the damage when it comes to landing a fish. So there you go, the multi-rig.